Hey everyone, this is your stimulus check update, second stimulus check update, and stimulus package update for Wednesday, September 30th. This video is for those of you on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and VA benefits, and for anyone else that's wondering about the second stimulus check and the stimulus package negotiations that are going on right now. In this video, I'll be going over the following. First off, Nancy Pelosi and Steven Mnuchin met yesterday and resumed negotiations on the next stimulus package. They are discussing the $2.2 trillion plan that came out from the House of Representatives this week. And Mark Meadows and Nancy Pelosi both expressed optimism that they could reach a deal. Next, I missed out on a few of the provisions that were in this $2.2 trillion plan when I did my video yesterday, so I'm going to do some updated provisions, and many of them do affect those of you that are on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and VA benefits. And last, I'm going to be talking about how Nancy Pelosi and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin are set to meet once again today, as Steven Mnuchin and the White House are expected to counteroffer this $2.2 trillion plan. I want to welcome back those of you that are subscribed members of my channel. Thank you once again for watching. And yesterday we hit 50,000 subscribers. So I can't thank you enough. I really appreciate each and every one of you, and I appreciate you watching my videos. I created this channel to hopefully help people out, and I'm hoping that I do that in each of these videos. So thank you once again so much for those of you that are subscribed members of my channel. And if you haven't subscribed already, you can subscribe right now and hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified each and every time I upload a new video. And if you find this content helpful, I would appreciate it if you hit the like button so that YouTube will share this video with others like you. Yesterday, Steven Mnuchin and Nancy Pelosi met as they talked over the phone for about 50 minutes regarding this $2.2 trillion stimulus proposal that came out in the House of Representatives earlier this week. It did sound like the talks went well, and Nancy Pelosi was interviewed yesterday on MSNBC and was asked when the House might vote on this $2.2 trillion stimulus proposal. She said, "We're in a negotiation and hopefully we'll come to a bipartisan agreement that will remove all doubt that the legislation will pass and be signed by the president." This is great news because I think if they were to just vote on this $2.2 trillion plan without any sort of negotiations and without any feedback from the White House and from the Senate Republicans, then this is probably going to be doomed to the same fate as the HEROES Act, which was $3.4 trillion and went nowhere in the Senate. The fact that Nancy Pelosi is saying, let's get a bipartisan effort and let's actually get this approved before we vote on it is great news. As long as they can actually come to an agreement and come closer together and get a deal. White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows also expressed some optimism regarding reaching a deal from both sides when he said, "The Secretary and I have had a couple of conversations this morning. We also had a conversation with the President, so hopefully we'll make some progress to find a solution for the American people." So both sides are saying that they're hopeful that they can come to a resolution and they can come to an agreement on the next stimulus package proposal. Josh Gottheimer, one of the leaders of the Problem Solvers Caucus and one of the people that put out that Problem Solvers Caucus plan a couple weeks ago, in an interview yesterday, he said, "The next 24 to 48 hours are key. This is game time. Many of us have made it clear that we can't go home before the election and potentially inauguration without helping people, small businesses, and local governments." Gottheimer, as well as other moderate Democrats in the House of Representatives, have been pushing Nancy Pelosi to broker a deal and to get a deal done with the other side. So the big question remains, can they actually reach a deal that both sides agree to and that will pass both the House and the Senate and then be signed by President Trump? So I want to give you guys some updated details that I learned about on the $2.2 trillion stimulus plan after I did my video yesterday. And I apologize that I didn't give these out yesterday, but I did the best I could yesterday, and there are some provisions that I want to update, and there was one mistake that I made. So I want to go through that now. First off, there are $1,200 stimulus checks, and those would include those of you on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and VA benefits. However, yesterday, I projected that there would be $1,200 stimulus checks for those that are claimed as dependents as well. And I was incorrect on this, and I'm sorry for that. This plan includes $500 stimulus checks for those that are claimed as dependents no matter what age they are. So instead of the $1,200 like the original HEROES Act, this actually comes down and does a $500 stimulus check for those of you that are claimed as dependents. Well, I know some of you are probably disappointed about this. I'm sorry I made that mistake yesterday, but I wanted to come clean and say it's $500 for those that are claimed as dependents on someone else's taxes. One of the other things I missed yesterday was it actually, for those of you that owe back child support, the $1,200 stimulus checks will not be taken if you owe back child support. That was actually something that was part of this plan as well. In addition to this bill contains a few other key components that I didn't include in my video yesterday and I want to go through now. And some of these will involve those of you that are on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and VA benefits. First off, it includes $21 billion for homeowners for mortgage and other housing-related costs. There aren't many details on what housing-related costs means, but it's $21 billion to help with mortgages and for those that are paying off their homes. It also includes $50 billion for rental assistance. So for those of you that are worried about having to pay rent and behind on your rent and everything else, this includes $50 billion for rental assistance. I don't know how this will work as it hasn't been detailed how it would work and how the money would be sent out to those that are in need of rental assistance, but just know that there are $50 billion allocated for rental assistance. Now, there are estimates that renters are about $21 billion behind on rent in this entire country right now. So this $50 billion is well above the total amount that renters are behind right now. So I think it would give a lot of help to those of you that are behind on your rent and worried about getting kicked out of your homes because you're behind on rent. This plan also includes $45 million for disabled Americans for affordable housing costs. Now, I'm not sure, once again, I don't know the details of how this will work either, but $45 million is set aside for disabled Americans to go towards affordable housing. So once I have more details on that as well, I will let you know. It also includes $10 billion that will help pay for 15% increases in SNAP benefits. So this is just like the Problem Solvers Caucus proposal that called for 15% increases in SNAP benefits. So $10 billion is set aside for that. In addition to this, it sets aside $500 million for WIC benefits, as well as emergency food assistance programs funding. So $500 million for that. So there are a lot of good things in this bill, and a lot of them would affect those of you on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and VA benefits. If you are struggling with rent or need housing assistance or are disabled and need affordable housing, there are a lot of provisions here that hopefully will help a lot of you guys out. It's reported that Treasury Secretary Mnuchin will respond to the negotiation talks that started yesterday or resumed yesterday with Nancy Pelosi, and that Mnuchin and the White House and Mark Meadows and the Trump administration will counter the proposal that Nancy Pelosi and the House of Representatives put out, and that today that Nancy Pelosi and Mnuchin will meet once again and discuss what the White House proposes as changes to that $2.2 trillion plan. If the talks go well and Pelosi and Mnuchin can get on the same page and that they can all agree on something, then the House of Representatives could rework that proposal and make any changes as needed, and they could hopefully, in a bipartisan effort, vote on something in the House of Representatives. That's the best case scenario. That's what we want to happen. We want some of the changes to happen in this $2.2 trillion plan. My guess is that the Trump administration and Mnuchin and the White House are not going to just flat out accept this $2.2 trillion plan. There are still probably some provisions that they don't like and that they'll want reworked. So hopefully Nancy Pelosi and the other leaders of the House of Representatives will see that that both sides are trying to work together and get a plan done. And hopefully they can make some changes and make it a bipartisan effort to get this plan passed. If it passes in the House of Representatives and there is bipartisan support, my guess is the Senate will jump on board, or at least enough senators in order to pass it in the Senate. And then if that happens, then President Trump will sign it. There's no way that if it passes the House and the Senate that President Trump won't sign it. I do know that so many of you are struggling and you're hurting, and I'm hopeful that this bill can go through and that they can actually get a deal done. It has been such a long time coming, and I know that you guys are hurting and struggling, and you need some form of assistance. I do appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you once again to those 50,000 plus of you that have subscribed to my channel. I do appreciate each and every one of you. I appreciate you watching my videos. I hope that I'm helpful in these videos, and if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them either in a video or in the comment section. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you again soon.